On the same story, followers of Paul Makenzie lived in the forest for about 2 years before they embarked on the deadly mission of faith and fasting to death. Police in their investigations have unearthed finer details of how the mass deaths were planned and executed. Our very own Brenda Wanga now takes us inside the camps of death at Shakahola in the second part of our special coverage, Shakahola, Death and Deceit.
Napata kama kuna baadhi ya mili ambayo ilikuwa iko na traces za kamba kwa mikono.
From the depths of the forest, secrets held therein for close to 2 years started coming out. Women, children, emaciated, on the verge of death, on the brink of fulfilling their mission. That which had been drummed into them by their pastor Makenzie of fasting to death. This was the start of what has come to be known as the worst religion-inspired massacre in the country. Months of painstaking investigations by the DCI have placed the start of the end-time prophecy by Makenzie and the practice of fasting to death in Shakahola at the end of 2022 and the start of 2023. Witnesses told the DCI that Paul Makenzie, leader of what has now been christened as Kanisa Jangwani, began to aggressively push his followers to deny themselves any form of nourishment as they prepared to meet Jesus in heaven. Witnesses have recounted how, during his bi-monthly Saturday meetings, Makenzie not only instructed the residents of Shakahola to start starving their children to death to go and meet Jesus, who was waiting for them in heaven, but also gave them the sequence in which to do so. A former adherent says the instructions were explicit.
Sababu hii whole thing ilikuwa iko na sequence ya. Waanze watoto wafungiwe, alafu ndo wa mama, alafu ndo wa baba.
This fasting was not voluntary, and those who dared to defy the cult leaders in carrying out the instructions would not be spared. Insiders told the DCI that men had been instructed to fast last, as they will be needed to dig graves and bury the dead. They will be the last to die. The last meeting of February 2023 saw Makenzie issue further instructions. His followers were instructed not to take food or water and neither to bathe nor brush their teeth. All these things will be done in heaven, he told them. On the instructions of Makenzie, women with young children immediately started to deny their young ones food, water, and soon after, the children of Shakahola started dying. The investigations reveal that as the children died en masse, the pastor moved around overseeing many harusi, as the burials were termed. These deaths were celebrated.
Kule sasa hata sisi ndo tunataka mazishi, lakini kule inasemekana mtu amesafiri, ameenda kwa Yesu, na hata watu hawali, watu hawaombolezi kule, maana ni furaha mtu kuingia mbinguni, si ndio? Kule it's considered kwamba ni victory, yani mtu amengangana, amekaa njaa hivyo, amezuia mpaka ameingia, huyo mtu anakuwa considered kama shujaa sasa. So kwao huwa si huzuni. Sisi wengine ni huzuni, lakini kwao si huzuni kwa sababu mtu ameingia, ni mwanajeshi yule ameshinda vita.
Witnesses further told the DCI that when some of the children tried to escape from the camp, Mackenzie's senior aide, Stephen Moye Sanga, convened a meeting where all the men in the camp were allocated different duties to ensure that the fasting mission did not fail. The men would serve as patrollers, grave diggers, transporters of dead bodies, and security for fasting followers. Each of the head of the group was assigned a mobile phone to communicate with Stephen in case of any eventuality. One witness told the police that he was assigned as a patroller and was tasked with identifying strangers and apprehending those trying to escape the forest. A miner who we shall call Davis, in the company of his brother nicknamed Peter, says they attempted to escape the camp but were apprehended by one of the patrollers and returned to the camp. Peter would later die. When the outside world learned about the happenings in Shakahola, The residents moved deeper into the forest and into this fasting bays where the faithful were now encouraged to persist in their quest for death. The bays were guarded to prevent the faithful from escaping. Children who escaped and were rescued from Shakahola told investigators that in the aftermath of the discovery of the Shakahola massacre, the dead would be buried at dawn or dusk to evade police detection. A survivor, whom we shall call Florence, told investigators that she lost her 7 children due to fasting and was nearly killed herself when one of the suspects, Mary Kadzo, attempted to suffocate her with a polythene bag on allegations that she was taking too long to die. Some of the rescued children told the police that the pastor had cancelled his followers to fast to death on the pretext of meeting Jesus. The dead, the children said, were buried in shallow graves. A former member of the church says the terrain influenced the manner of the burial of the dead.
Ule naturally ni kugumu. So kuchimba futi 6 tayari ni changamoto. So ile mazishi moja niliwahi kushuhudia ni around 14 3:30 hapo. Watu wamengangana sana. Yeah. So hiyo ndio tofauti ya kule na huko, alafu kaburi kule hayachi na mlima, wale mchanga unaobaki after kaburi imejaa una kwa spread tu hapo area hapo, yani kiasi kwamba after kama kutanyesha immediately after mazishi hata kwa rahisi wewe kunotice ile kaburi.
Most of the graves exhumed from Shakahola were indeed shallow ones, with a total of 428 bodies retrieved from the camps of death. Mass graves were exhumed, with one holding the highest number of bodies at 7. 2 graves held 6 bodies each. 3 graves had 5 bodies each, while 19 graves had 2 bodies buried in each of them, while the rest were single graves. Autopsy results have revealed that the deaths from Shakahola were largely from starvation, with 215 people confirmed to have died this way. 39 were asphyxiated, 14 died from head injuries, 1 died from blunt trauma, 1 was strangulated, while the cause of death for 150 could not be determined.
Kuna mmoja alisema ndugu yake kabla akate roho, alipokuwa anang'ang'ana kutafuta pumzi, wanasema mama yake alimshika mdomo, akafanya nini? Akaenda. Alitumia hiyo lugha akaenda, kumaanisha yani alikufa yani. Unaona? So huyo kama alishikwa mdomo, mtu anang'ang'ana kufungua mdomo hivi na kufunga kwa sababu ndio nikwenda nikufa na kufa, anang'ang'ana kutafuta pumzi, alafu kumzuia mdomo. Huyo mtu ni kama huo umefanya nini? Ni kama umechangia yeye kufa kwake ama yeye kukosa oxygen.
The police investigations also revealed that women and children bore the brunt of the Makenzie-led activities in Shakahola. Of the dead, 182 were children, while 224 were adults. The age of 22 could not be determined. 162 male and 223 females died over the period of the massacre, while the gender of 43 could not be ascertained. And as Makenzie and his co-accused get their day in court, the investigators will be seeking to prove that the self-proclaimed pastor was driven by financial gain and extreme ideology when he set out to convince his faithful to join him in the forest in the 9 villages named after biblical places to fast to their deaths. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.